Ready, Joseph? Now you'll be watching the words, so because I might stop, okay? Sugar plum and the butterfly.
Can I read some of the words that I know? Sugar plum
said the fairy queen. I've got a very important job for you to do. Sugar plum was always given the most important work. Now, Joseph.
The fairy queen said it was
because she was the kindest and most helpful of all the fairies. I want you to make a rose petal ball gown for my birthday ball next week. It will be my pleasure, said Sugar Plum happily. She liked being busy. She set to work straight away. Sugar Plum began to gather cobwebs to make the thread and rose petals to make the dress. While she was collecting the thread, she found a butterfly caught in a cobweb. Oh, you poor thing, sighed Sugar Plum. She stopped what she was doing to help him. Very carefully, Sugar Plum untangled the butterfly, but his wing was broken. Sugar Plum laid the butterfly on a bed of
feathers.
Well done, Nara.
I knew it said feathers.
Sometimes I'll stop to ask you what the word is.
Feathers.
Okay.
I know how to spell two. T-W-O.
Yeah, T-W-O. We're on the right page. 204, 206. He was very sick and weak with hunger. Sugar Plum gathered some nectar from a special flower and fed him a drop at a time. Then she set about mending his wing with a magic spell. Every day, Sugar Plum fed the butterfly with nectar and cast her spell to mend his wing. After 6 days, the butterfly was better. He was very grateful. But by now, Sugar Plum was behind with her work. What was her work?
Queen's ball gown.
Exactly. I shall never finish the fairy queen's ball gown by tomorrow, she cried. Whatever shall I do? The butterfly comforted her. Don't worry, Sugar Plum. We will help you. He gathered all his friends together. There were yellow butterflies, blue butterflies, red and brown butterflies.
And blue.
He told them how Sugar Plum had rescued him from the cobweb and helped him to mend his wing. The butterflies gladly gathered up lots of rose petals and dropped them next to Sugar Plum. Then the butterflies flew away to gather more cobwebs, while Sugar Plum arranged all the petals.
What does arranged mean?
Fixed them in order. She moved them from here to here. Back and forth went Sugar Plum's hand with her needle and thread, making the finest cobweb stitches. Sugar Plum added satin bow, ribbons and bows, and when she had finished, Sugar Plum was very pleased. Dear friend, she said to the butterfly, I couldn't have finished the dress without your help. And I couldn't have flown again without your kindness, said the butterfly. The fairy queen was delighted with her new ball gown. And when she heard the butterfly story, she wrote a special thank you poem for Sugar Plum. Okay, Joseph?
Sugar Plum is helpful. Sugar Plum is kind. Sugar Plum works hard all day, but she doesn't mind. She always does her very best to make sick creatures well. She brings such joy and
pleasure as she weaves her magic spell. Now, that's your story. So what happens next? Joseph has to pick a story, has he?
Yeah.
Where do you want it from?
This. It's going to be in this bit of the page. Where are the pictures are? It's going to be... 156. The Fluff Monsters.
Okay.
It's 156. 5, 6. No, no. There.
Okay. The Fluff Monsters. This is the story of the Fluff Monsters. Everyone has seen Fluff under the bed.
Even me.
That's because the Fluff Monsters live under the beds. They need beds that are not too clean underneath. Fluff Monsters only come out when it's
Dark.
They don't know what the world outside beds is like in daylight. They think it's scary just being out during the day. Who knows what might be out in the daylight? Once, Fluff Boy was having a quiet meal, eating fluff and custard, when suddenly the magic sucking thing appeared. What is a magic sucking thing?
Vacuum cleaner.
Exactly. Good girl. It made a terrible noise as it came closer and closer, and then a tube with a brush on the end sucked up all the fluff under the bed after he'd spent ages collecting it. But Fluff Boy had only ever lived under his bed. He wanted to know what it was like under other beds. Only naughty fluff monsters go out in the daylight, said Fluff Mummy. And do you know what happens to naughty fluff monsters? No, I don't, said Fluff Boy, alarmed. What? His mother put on a scary voice and said, the little girl will get you.
That's not me.
Oh, I think it is.
It's got different colour hair. It's orange hair. Look.
Fluff Boy's eyes opened wide. Who's the little girl, he asked. The little girl is a monster who lives in the bed, said Fluff Mummy. She is really clean and pretty. She will take you away and wash you and put you in a room with sun shining through the windows. She will open the doors and fill the room with fresh air from outside. That's horrible. I don't believe you, said Fluff Boy. You're making it up. Well, you just have to be good, said Fluff Mommy, or you'll find out. I'm not scared of the little girl, said Fluff Boy. Fluff Boy wasn't going to be put off.
I saw Daddy long legs.
He wanted to know what it was like under other beds.
And I saw spiders and Daddy long legs.
One day, while everyone was asleep, Fluff Boy slipped away.
And I saw spiders and Daddy long legs.
Outside, bright sunlight filled the room.
Once I saw
That must be the window that Fluff Mummy told me about, said Fluff.
Long dog.
He wandered into the next room and he found another bed to slide under. There were spiders and daddy long legs, cobwebs, and lots of fluff. It was perfect. So Fluff Boy ate some fluff, though he did miss his mum's homemade custard, and he settled into his new home. But Fluff Boy couldn't sleep. He was thinking about the little girl. He had to see if she was real or not. Plucking up courage, he poked his head out from under the bed. Carefully, he climbed up the bed covers until he could scramble over the top, and suddenly, the little girl woke up and sat up. Fluff Boy was so surprised he jumped with fright. Ah! Shrieked Fluff Boy. Ah! Screamed the little girl. They scrambled to each end of the bed and stared at each other. You gave me a fright, said Fluff Boy. Me? Frighten you? Said the little girl. You frightened me. Did I? Said Fluff Boy. Why? Well, you're the bogeyman, aren't you? Said the little girl. There's no such thing as a bogeyman, laughed Fluff Boy. I'm Fluff Boy. I've just moved in under this bed. Do you live in this bed too? No, silly, said the little girl. I just sleep here at
night.
I thought scary bogeyman lived under the bed. But you're not scary at all. How about this then, said Fluff Boy. He stuck his thumbs in his ears and he wiggled his fingers and he poked his tongue out. The little girl laughed. That's not at all scary, she said. This is scary, and she pulled the corners of her mouth out with her fingers and she crossed her eyes. And that was how Fluff Boy and the little girl discovered that there is nothing scary under the bed at all. Now, There you go. 2 stories
Under the bed or in it.
are in it, yeah. Nothing scary. Under the bed or in it. Okay.
They're good stories from the 5-minute tales.
They're lovely stories, aren't they?
And I transport them
Now, night night.
to Joseph.
Kiss.
Emily.
And you know what I'm
Emily.
doing?
And Daddy.
I'm going to school with you tomorrow.
And Grandma. And Emily's going to go.
And you know something?